Trump's so-called election panel has asked all 50 states for voter roll information, essentially information on every voter in these states. Now, Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach, who also happens to be the vice chairman of President Trump's Commission on Election Integrity, is seeking several pieces of information about voters, including their names, birthdays, the last 4 digits of their social security numbers, and their voting history dating back to 2006. Now, the letter that was sent to the secretaries of state of all 50 states was obtained by The Hill. So The Hill did the reporting on this, and it directs states to turn over publicly available voter roll data, including, if publicly available under the laws of your state, the full first and last names of all registrants, middle names or initials if available, addresses, dates of birth, political party, last 4 digits of social security, if available, and voter history from 2006 onward. So this story was a late addition to our rundown today. Michael Shore came in and he's like, we need to cover this. And so I want to actually throw it to you first to get your commentary. What do you think? Why is this so problematic?
Well, first of all, it's problematic because it's an invasion of privacy. And this is somebody who has spent a good deal of his time trying to suppress votes. He is an anti-immigrant. He's somebody who helped craft. He's from Kansas, remember, but he helped craft SB 1070 in Arizona, that very frightfully racist piece of legislation that was targeting immigrants in Arizona. Did something similar in Arkansas. He's from Kansas. Let's keep reminding you, he's the Kansas Secretary of State.
And SB 1070 was from several years ago, so I just want to make sure that you guys are up to date on that. It would essentially allow police officials to ask anyone for proof that they're in the country legally, right?
Yeah.
So it essentially gave them a pass to profile people who weren't white, and so yeah, there was a lot of backlash to that.
It was like having a national ID card practically, which is something that we in this country don't have. There are reasons to and not to have that, but this is not coming from the purest place. So he is a guy who has consistently said that there is voter fraud, rampant voter fraud in this country, supported the president when the president has said millions of fraudulent votes in the 2016 election. And he is also someone who said he had all this proof for what happened in New Hampshire. The reason Trump lost New Hampshire was because there were so many false votes of people coming in from Massachusetts to vote in New Hampshire. None of this, zero, was proven. He is also the only state Secretary of State in the country who has the power to prosecute voter fraud. And because he kind of granted himself that power in a legislature like Kansas that is a majority Republican conservative legislature, was able to get that power, he has prosecuted some cases. A handful, a couple, some were overturned on appeal. There is not a problem. This is not a problem in America. This administration and this guy think that it is. So going after everybody on every voter roll down to social security numbers. And so of course he's getting pushback. Terry McAuliffe, the governor of Virginia, said we are not going to participate. Merrill in Connecticut, she said we're not going to participate. We'll participate with some of it, but we're not going to give information that isn't already public. You know, there's a guy called Jay Ashcroft. I don't know if you've ever heard that name. He's the Secretary of State in Missouri, and he has said that, it's a great idea. We'll participate. It's funny where your bedfellows come, but that's the whole of it. This is dangerous. This is voter suppression. This is getting people. This is intimidating people to register to vote. If you have a felony, if you have a misdemeanor, if you are worried that you have something in your checkered past, and you know that your social security number and your information and your address, if you are being stalked, if you are a woman who is abused and you don't want this information public, then you're not going to give it. And if registering to vote means you have to give it, you're not going to register to vote. And guess who goes home happy? Chris Kobach.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you bring that up, because for me personally, as I was reading the story, the publishing of this information, which they do intend on doing. The letter also stipulates that documents submitted to the commission will also be made available to the public. First of all, I think most Americans, regardless of where you lie on the political spectrum, understand that when you publish information that contains things like your address and the last 4 digits of your social security number. I mean, you are just creating a wealth of information for people who want to hack into financial accounts and things like that. So that's, of course, a concern of mine. Another concern is that this could be used as a form of political intimidation, right? The Trump administration is collecting data on you, and they know who you voted for and how you voted since 2006. But finally, what if you are a public figure, such as myself, and you want to protect your address, right? You've gone to extreme lengths to protect your address. Now this information is going to be publicized? No, that's insane, right? And so it will absolutely discourage people from registering to vote.
Well, and a simple computer search could come up with your name and address in a nanosecond. You know, I mean, once these files are available that way, then it'll be very easy to find any of our names and addresses, and any American that you want to violate in terms of their privacy in that fashion. I've always thought of the voting process as so sacred here. It's weird how you grow up with that sense that voting in America is really a sacred process, and we celebrate it and we say this is the best process politically in the world. I mean, whether or not that's even true anymore, but you have a sense of that the sanctity of what's going on with that vote and with your registration. And now it's odd, and if I can say almost un-American, to have it pierced this way.
Sure, you can say that, Mark.
Okay, well, I just said it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right, though. It is, and it's when you know, John Lewis is in the Congress. He'll probably have a thing or two to say about this. This is another executive order from your president, and he is following through on these. This actually isn't the commission itself. Was created out of executive order. This is bad news. This voter intimidation in America has always gone on. It's always come from one party in modern history. It continues to, and it has to be stopped. And this is constitutional. Challenging.
But this actually ties in with the other theme of this guy who's so driven by ego that he's chasing this crap that he was throwing around about the election and all the illegal votes.
He thinks he won New Hampshire. You're right, Mark. He wants everybody to think he won New Hampshire, and that's what this is.
Everyone thought that he was going to drop this stuff once he became president. Hey, you won. Like you dropped the Hillary Clinton thing, lock her up. Let's drop it already. I mean, you're in now. But he's not. He's chasing this because he wants to say, no, damn it, you're not dropping this. I said it, and you're not going to make me a fool. In fact, I'm going to establish a commission to investigate this. By the way, commissions cost money. So it does cost taxpayer money to chase this guy's ego dream, whatever it is.
This is going to cost a ton of money. It's going to cost states money too, because the states are going to have to put these rolls together.
And even if they decide they don't want to put the rolls together, they're going to have to contest it in court, legally, and that's going to cost money.
Because of this guy's ego trip.
I know what you're thinking. Cenk, what do I get if I'm a Young Turks member? Well, I'm glad you asked. Not only do you get the whole 2-hour show on demand anytime you want, ad-free, but you get 6 podcasts on top. What are they? Join up, find out, they're amazing. You're gonna love these shows. TYTnetwork.com/join.